I guess it does.
Yeah. Now I'm like, which phone do I look
So this is your idea, so
okay,
you gotta get this started.
Yeah, it's my idea. Yeah. What's up, guys?
Hello.
So we're doing a video right now, and this is my good friend Cammy, and she's trans and I'm trans, and we're gonna talk about transition. Okay, so for anybody, if you guys watch my videos, you know all about like my process, because I just pretty much talk about me all the time and my experiences. Well, so now here I have Cammy to talk about her experience on the other end of the spectrum, because there's even some stuff that I don't know about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't really have much to say. I mean, if you have any questions, definitely ask. But I mean, it's probably kind of similar, but really, it's crazy thing is we met kind of silently to each other. We just in passing, we kind of like looked at each other and was like, there is some, you know what, we just need to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we kind of had this like unspoken bond, and started messaging about what our lives were going to be looking like when it came to transition. That this is something that we have both thought about, and like that's where our life is going. And yeah, mine was pretty. We had some really great. We have a great facility in Sacramento called the GHC that kind of opened my eyes to the possibilities and how to kind of navigate the early stages of transition. And yeah, so that was really what got me going. And then I met a really good doctor, and she kind of guided me with some of the other stuff and paperwork. And long story short, this is kind of where we're at. This has been about, I would say, I pretty much transitioned on my 30th birthday, which is pretty funny. Like, that was when I opened up like 100% to everybody and was like, this is the day. And then that was an interesting birthday because all my family was there, and I was like, hey, I'm a lady. Hi.
Is that really what you said?
Pretty much.
Basically.
I was like, I'm like, I went, and like I remember one of the craziest moments was I wasn't ready for it, and I'm like getting out of my car, and my dad like coming to help me carry stuff inside, and then he was like, he seen me, and it was like, he didn't say anything, and he just turned around and walked away. It was pretty intense. I remember looking at my partner and being like, and her just being like, and and I went inside, and I may have surprised a few people, but you know, I had my rock next to me, and that always helped out. So, but yeah, so that was about a year and 3 or 4 months ago, and it's been a pretty good year for me, for sure. And I mean, like, it's kind of uneventful, honestly. It's kind of like, okay, like this is the start, and you're like, okay, I'm here. And then you're like 6 months in, you're like, okay, I'm here. This is cool, all right. And then a year in, you're like, oh, it's been a fucking year. I've been living a year the way I've always wanted to live. And you have to almost put yourself in like a retrospective view and be like, oh yeah, it was like that, and now it's so much better. So yeah.
So like for me, I mean, I'm technically a baby at this, only 4 months on the 17th. Yeah, that'll be my 4 months. So like I usually get like down and dirty on these videos, and like I talk about everything. Like,
say whatever you want.
I don't care.
I don't want to
like,
influence your your videos.
I just want to like disclaimer.
What do you want to know about me?
Disclaimer, right? Disclaimer. So like I think the first one I did was I kind of just went over everything, and like because I'd been looking things up, and like I wanted to know, like the first thing I wanted to know was what was going to happen to my body. It was like one of those things you're like, okay, this is going to change me. Like what's going to happen to my body? Yeah. You know, because you're like, I know my body, and like it's going to be different suddenly. So I need to know. So like I kind of just told everybody like approximately like what months like things will change, and like what's actually gonna happen, because some things people are like, oh, I didn't know that, you know. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I think I would like say first that like it's always different with everybody who is pursuing this kind of part of their life, and you know, heading on this chapter, if this is a part of their chapter. But you know, like, there are subtle changes that happen here and there, and I remember thinking that they're, you know, making mountains out of molehills, and being like, oh my god, they're so big. But And they are. I mean, in retrospect, they don't seem as big, but in that moment when like I saw, you know, the changes, the first like physical changes in my face and my hips and my waist and my breast line, it was pretty amazing. And then I remember the first time my partner was like, "Oh yeah, like oh, I see," like she noticed those parts of me and was like extremely turned on by them. It was a pretty big moment. So
Like,
yes, I was like, okay, yeah, like looking at me, I'm like, oh, there's some boobs, I like that, all right, and some other things. So.
Hey, yeah. So, like, cause with like, I know there's like things that are like totally different. Like one thing that I was noticing about myself today is like, cause everybody tells you like, okay, when you take testosterone, like you're gonna grow more body hair, and I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. Like I had like an idea of what was gonna happen. Like there was like a place that I didn't think of that guys grow hair that I was totally not prepared for. And I noticed today and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Cause like someone said, like some people like if you have like crazy nose hair, like some people's like nose hair grows. Mm-hmm. It's not my nose. So like, yeah. I'm like in the shower and I'm like, oh my God, it literally, in my ass crack is so much more hair than there used to be. And I was like, no, I wasn't mentally prepared. I wasn't prepared for that.
No, like, I would guess it wasn't very enjoyable. I mean,
no.
But there are, you know, you know.
I've been worried about like going bald, and I'm like, God, I hope I don't go bald because I love my hair.
You
wasn't
do have
prepared
nice
for
hair.
the.
It's pretty nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that.
But no, for me, I think some of the things that, you know, physically, it's like, it was huge, the big changes, but you know, like there's a lot of things when it comes to being a trans woman in my world anyways. This isn't for everybody. I always will say like my story isn't like everybody else's story, but really my changes were pretty significant. I mean, honestly, like the size of my breasts and my body, but honestly my facial hair wasn't going anywhere. It was it was kind of just gonna always be there, and so for me I really had to go into laser hair removal, and I've done 8 treatments, and it's not all gone, you know. Like I have to still go in for multiple treatments, and I'll probably end up going into 10 and still having to do a light round of electrolysis, which no one wants to do. It's like the most painful thing ever. So well, not the most painful thing ever, but pretty painful. And so laser is painful, but it's not nearly as painful, and the recovery time is less. So I'm pretty happy with the results, but like, you know, those 4 or 5 hairs you see, you're like, I'm like, I can't have those, and you're like, I'll take all of those.
I'm like, I need one. I have like one hair on my chin. That's it. But my mustache is like starting.
It's
to
coming
come
in
pretty nicely.
It's coming.
Like people will be like talking to me. They're like, I'm sorry. I'm just like not. It's not bad. I keep looking at your mustache. I'm like, I know it's nice. Isn't it?
It's little things like that. But I think some of the other things that we really got to talk about is not only like some of the physical changes, but like mental changes. Mm-hmm. I think environmentally, like in my world at work, like I work with people every day. I know you do too. Mm-hmm. And I remember early on the transition was really kind of hard for knowing that people were perceiving me in a certain way, but maybe it wasn't the way I'd like to, or, you know, like had a control on, like, I had this feeling that like I was like the walking billboard for what people thought trans meant. Like I felt like I was the reason they would either be pro or con, I guess, my lifestyle or the person I am. And that was kind of hard. I remember just being like, oh my God, like all this. And then finally I was like, fuck it, I need to calm down. Like I'm doing as much as I can, but I can't change everyone's point of view, and I got to be okay with that. And I got there, but like it still hits me. I mean, there's days when I'm like, man, fuck, like why is this person treating me like shit? Or why is this person doing this? Or why can't this person take all of my many feminine attributes, which I love, and weigh those more heavier than the few maybe male attributes I may still have, like my deeper voice and things like that. And like people give my voice way more weight than they give any part of me or my personality or who I am as a feminine person, as a woman in general. And I think that is something that is something we have to talk about, you know? Yeah. I mean, we can get real heavy into like the thought process of like emphasis on masculinity over femininity and why people see those things. But we'll save that for another video. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll do it with like a more like in depth. But yeah, no, like I definitely. It's like people want to pick out like the thing about you that doesn't jive with the rest of you, and it's like anything that they can find that's different. It's like I'll have people that'll just like look at me like a little bit too long, like they're like not trying to like figure me out, which it used to really bother me, but it's like the longer people look, like the happier I get, because that means it's like I'm pushing past like, oh, you're just like looking like a dyke lesbian, and then like into looking like where they're like takes them longer to figure me out if they can even figure me out, so it used to really bother me, but I'm like, I'm in that zone where you can't really tell. Pretty soon I'll be on the other side and you'll never even know.
And that's a crazy argument too that I see with some of my other friends that they're like, if anyone ever talks to me or knows me, like the term, like we talk about this term passing, and it's definitely not something I love. I don't like when people use that word.
I don't either.
Yeah, and so for me, I don't like using that, but sometimes people are striving for that moment, you know what I mean? And I think there's sometimes when you get to the other side of that and you're like, but what does that mean now for me? I know there's many people who, who look, as if they were cis, and that bothers them, in these queer spaces, in these trans-friendly spaces. I've seen that happen where they're like, and they get broken down for that. So I mean, that's kind of one. I think it's always in retrospect, right? I guess so.
Yeah, that's kind of the bum part. It's like you finally get where you wanted to be, and then you realize like now you're being shunned out of your own community because now you look like a normal whatever,
Or they may not even know. I think that's the thing. They're like, oh, like I didn't know you were trans. I'm sorry, and it's like, but like it's not that natural thing. Like my voice is something that like I get called out on every single day of working. Like every day, it's like someone will say something or do something, and I could be wearing like my favorite dress and be and feel beautiful in the morning, and it will crush you sometimes. So
yeah, that's the hard thing too, and it's like I think there's like pluses and minuses on like both sides of like who, like it's not like a who's got the harder struggle contest or whatever, but like it's just like different things like. And it was kind of things that I learned when I was going through, because like when at first I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just like making like a rash decision, which I spent 30 years of my life thinking about this. Like I'm pretty sure
I think you're pretty good on that.
Pretty good on it, but I wanted to know. Like I was like, if I decide to stop, like what's gonna happen, And my doctor was like, well, like there's some things that will change and go back, and there's some things that just won't go back. Like if I grow a mustache, if I go that far, like it will never go away. My facial hair won't just go away. It won't stop growing. It'll keep growing. My voice will never go back to sounding feminine, Yeah. So it's like, and then I was like, oh, okay, so that makes sense to me now. It's like that kind of helped me understand the other side. It's like for you, it's like your voice will never like go up with estrogen. It's like you have to, if you want it to sound that way, you have to like force your voice to sound that way, basically.
There's things you can do, but it's like training your voice to be more feminine, which that's playing with language, which is another whole conversation. But if your desire is to sound a certain way for your own personal like happiness, then go for it. But I think a lot of the times it's like you're just trying to not be in a place where you may not feel the most confident or safe, and not want to have your tells showing. And I think that's where it comes down to a lot of the times. It's like I was at a parts store. I think it was CarQuest or Ribby's or something like that. And anyone who knows me in my life, like I've worked on cars for a lot of my life, and I've helped build cars and own cars and do all these things. So I know a lot about cars, do a lot of the work myself. So I'm in this parts store, and like a gentleman opens the door for me. I go inside, I wait in line. He's right behind me, and then he's talking to me about like, oh, I heard your car in the parking lot, and like it was making some sounds. And I'm like, oh yeah, it was my this and that, and these are the parts I'm getting, so I can fix it. How do you know that is the problem with your car? Did somebody tell you? I'm like, I just know. So, and I know that I need these, these things, and he was like, well, I'm proud of you. I am proud of you.
Like,
and I'm like,
thanks.
Basically, like, fuck you. But then I'm like, if my tells show, I guess, in that moment, like I'm in a place when I don't feel comfortable. I don't know if don't know necessarily if anything would happen to me, but like I felt uncomfortable, and all I did was get heated up, try to maintain my composure and my femininity to the point to where this guy would not be threatened, and get out of there as soon as I could. But it's just like, that's the simple aspect of the voice. I don't really care that my voice is deeper, but sometimes it's just a safety thing,
Yeah, that's the sad part. It's like any, like even for me, like any hyper masculine like areas, like AutoZone, or places where it's like a guy thing to be there. It kind of like, those places make me nervous, and like I still haven't got the guts to like go into the guy's restroom, just because I'm like, I don't want to like get called out on anything, and
I hear that,
and it's like, I like, as much as I try to like keep these things like strapped up, and not noticeable, like it's still kind of hard to like hide them completely, and that's like my biggest issue right now is like making these like not noticeable. And I feel like, I just like, I don't, it sucks to like feel uncomfortable to be able to go certain places or to talk to certain people. But what you're talking about like is one of the reasons why I like love trans women so much, because it's like now you get to see like how a woman feels, and like you understand like how it felt before, and you're like, wow, like women get treated like shit.
like, perception
like
wise,
shit, like, and it's kind of awful.
Yeah, perception wise, it's changed a lot of my point of view on certain things. You having this experience, as being perceived male, and being in this world where like, not only was I perceived male, but so sorry,
no, that's okay.
Sorry, reading a comment, guys. It's one of those things where like, it changed my point of view on everything. Like I was, not only was I like a male, but I was a white male in my 20s. Like why would you change that? Like people would say that to me. Yeah. Like I can't, like it's so crazy. But so my point of view is still only as like what that was like, and now what it's like to be a trans woman, which both have their privilege. So when it comes down to certain certain moments, but like for me it is a crazy thing to see, like not feeling uncomfortable in almost any space to going to feeling uncomfortable in many spaces, and it's a pretty intense change, when it comes down to it. You're like, oh, okay, like, okay, I see, man, well, fuck me. No.
Right, you're like, now I know what they were talking about, like, wow. Because, like, I know, like, some guys, I have, like, a lot of guy friends that are, like, very sympathetic and, like, not necessarily feminist, but, like, they're for women's rights and everything, and it's, like, they can only understand so much, but, like, if you've never, like, experienced, like, how it feels, like, people are just like, oh, maybe you're just making a big deal out of it. But it's like, then you see it and you're like, wow, like, this is awful. Like, it's an awful way to feel. And it's like, I honestly am, like, ready. I'm going to use my male privilege for, like, as much good as I possibly can. My brand new male privilege that I'm going to have. So.
Yeah, it's pretty intense to hear your side of it, too, though. You know what I mean? Like, it is pretty good. I think it's really interesting that you don't use the men's bathroom, like, at all.
Not yet.
Not yet?
I want to, but I just,
what's
like,
keeping you from doing that?
It honestly, like, makes me kind of nervous. And what's funny is, like, as far as, like, all the people that I've talked to, like, I've caught a lot of flack, actually, from a lot of my lesbian friends for transitioning for some reason. Like, a lot of them were like, I don't understand, and, like, and it's like, okay, but, like, a lot of my...
Hey, everybody.
Like, straight cis male friends were just, like, even before I, like, told anybody that I was trans, I was just kind of, like, I was like, maybe I would just go in the bathroom with you guys and just, like, we would keep, like, because we'd be, like, walking, like, in school, and, like, everybody would have to go to the bathroom. Like, maybe I'll just keep walking with you guys in the bathroom, and we'll just keep our conversation going. And they're like, yeah, that actually wouldn't be weird to me at all. And so, like, when I told them, like, yeah, I'm trans and everything, they're like, oh, yeah. They're like, I pretty much just, like, kind of, like, thought you were a guy anyways. So it's like, yeah, I've been accepted a lot by straight guys, but... It's still, like, it makes me nervous because it's, like, I don't know everybody. And in a public restroom, like, you're not going to know anybody in there. And it's kind of, like, a scary deal,
Yeah.
And I've heard stories from people, like, other trans guys that have, like, gone to the bathroom and, like, they're nervous or whatever. And, like, people that have literally been like, hey, what are you doing in there, and stuff. And it's like, oh, I'm going pee. Like, sorry. Like, Yeah,
No, that's like, and it's nothing more real than that when you're on a road trip as a trans person. Is bathroom plotting your bathroom trips is huge. Like I'm like, I wonder if I can make it to, because I go to Disneyland a lot. I think you guys all know that. If you guys are all over my posts, like I'm literally always at Disneyland. Like if I just turn the camera around, it's ridiculous. Like too much Disney stuff in this house. But like I plot like where like I feel the most comfortable in the bathroom, like where to go. Boom, you hit this spot, this spot, this spot, and you're good. Even though like I haven't used the men's restroom in, since the day that I was like, this is the day. I haven't used the men's restroom since then. So, right, I know. But yeah, like it's still, you go to these truck stops and you're like, I could make it another 60 miles, like I could really hold this.
No.
And if I have to, I'll figure it out. But like really, it's really figuring out like where the bathroom's the easiest to get to or the quickest to get out of, or there's multiple stalls or single stalls, like which ones are going to be the best ones to use. I have some pretty crazy stories of like walking and be like, now I have to walk past 5 people who just walked into this bathroom, and none of them, I don't know how they're going to respond. Or, one of these people has a kid and how they're going to respond because I'm a trans woman in a bathroom and then there's a kid in there, which is like a thought process I shouldn't have to have, like... Yeah.
I kind of have the same thing.
That
like,
perception, like crazy.
Still going into the women's room, like with people, like with their little daughters, and I'm like, hey, and they're like, and kids, are like the most honest things on the face of the planet. And I've had so many kids that would like literally look at me, and then they would go to their parent and be like, "Is that a boy or a girl?" And like I've had them ask me too, and I'm always just like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, yeah. Like I don't know how to respond to like a child, and like it's not my place to like have these deep conversations with somebody else's kid. But yeah, it's like I feel like the closer I get, I feel like I'm gonna know the day when I need to start going in the men's room is like I'm gonna go in there and probably get looked at by every single person, but I should probably start going in the other bathroom now. Like I don't want to make other people uncomfortable, but I don't want to be uncomfortable either. You know what I mean? So,
I think there's a point in time when you really start putting yourself first, though.
Yeah.
And
like, I'm just doing that right now, and it's like when I'm at work, it's kind of like. Mm-hmm. That's usually like the only time I use a public restroom. Yeah. Because the restroom at my job, like the employee restroom, is super gross. So I try not to use it. Great. Yeah, I'm like, nah, I'm not, nah. But yeah, it's like I always go in there and I'm just like, is it gonna be the day? And then I'm like, nope, it's not the day today.
I get that. I know that feeling. That's like so real. Yeah. And I think it was, it's one of those things. I don't know if this is how we all feel, but it's like, hi. That I'm never gonna feel like what it feels like to be like at the end, mm-hmm. Like it's always just being living in the moment and just being okay with like how things are, and I don't know if that feeling's ever gonna come to where I'm like marching through the streets, with like my hair blowing in the breeze and like it powers, just like, no, I don't know if that's ever gonna feel. Sometimes like I have this feeling of like meekness and like feeling small just to get through, and that's a weird interpretation of like how sometimes I feel just trying to make my way through, especially with the kind of work I do and the kind of things that I kind of am a part of in my life. So yeah.
No, I feel that. On the plus side, though, I'm probably, like, the happiest I've been in, like, a really long time. Like, I used to, like, just, like, look in the mirror and just, like, judge myself all the time. But now it's, like, I see myself in the morning. Like, every morning I, like, look at myself and it, like, makes me happy, And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, look at you. Hey, finger guns, Like, I'm just, like, in a good mood every day.
You finger gun yourself in
the
mirror?
I finger gun myself.
Do that?
I'm like, hey, nobody's there to judge me.
So. Oh, it's okay. I don't mind. I think that's really cool.
Maybe I don't actually do that.
I think he should post another picture in his boxer briefs. I'm just saying. You guys agree? I agree with that. I'm just saying. But anyways, but no, I think that's a good thought process. Is that moment when you wake up in the morning. Like, one thing that was a big deal to me is, like, waking up in the makeup I was in the day before. That was a big moment for me. Because although I should be washing my makeup every single day, and I know this, guys, I do. Or folks, sorry. But, like, that time when I fell asleep and didn't have to wash off the day. I didn't have to wash off the girl. You know, at the end of the night, I didn't have to do that. I woke up in the morning and my eyeliner was smeared and my mascara was all, and I'm just like sat there. I was like so fucking happy. I was like, and I was like, yeah, like that's what's gonna happen, you know. And so it was a great moment, and yeah, I just remember wiping off my face, redoing it, being like super stoked on life. So that was awesome. And then what else? You know, those moments when you just see parts of your body and you're like, oh, I like that. You know, it's a big moment. So for sure.
Yeah. I'm just over here all being impatient. And I'm like, when am I going to start like getting huge? You know, it's just like for no reason. And it's like I start to see like little things. Like mostly it's like in my face that I notice the changes, or like my voice is starting to change finally. Like I posted a video on YouTube the other day. It was like the first one I posted since I like started. And one of my friends was like, watched the video, and she messaged me, and she's like, holy shit. She's like, I feel like I just saw you. She's like, and you sound like a man all of a sudden. And I was like, yay. Like when people like point things out to me, and they're like, wow, your mustache looks really good. I'm like, hey, thank you. You know, I know it's like barely there, but like you're making me feel really good about myself right now. So
that's fine though. It could be the little things, you know. So I think the little things are what like means the most, right? So I think I'm lucky enough to have like a lot of great people in my life too. Like, you know, got to call out my friend Kenna. My friend Kenna is like a great person. Yeah. Actually, that does happen sometimes. Sorry, I'm answering your question. That does happen. You know, just because I don't always like try to make my voice super high pitched. So yeah, sometimes I do get called out, and they say some pretty fucked up shit, or you know, give me crazy looks. But what we're talking about prior to that, I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
But
I get stared at a lot. I do. You get stared at. So people don't know. Like I noticed like lately actually that's been really awesome is that like I've been getting like more positive attention from the ladies. So I'm like, hey,
okay,
you know. And it's like it hasn't turned to like straight girls, like as far as I know. But like I still get like more attention, and it's like, oh, okay, I like this, you know, like.
Yeah.
What's funny is like my ex and like my old roommate were always like, my ex was just like, I'm just worried that you're gonna get too attractive, and that like everybody's gonna like be all over you, and I'm like, that doesn't sound terrible to me. like
oh man, that's bad.
That'd be awful if I was better looking, like. And then like our roommate was gay, and he's like, he's like, you guys are gonna break up, and then I'm gonna get with your man. And I was like, that's flattering.
Yeah.
But I haven't. My sexuality hasn't changed at all. So I was actually really worried about that because I love vagina so much. I was worried because I know a lot of trans guys, when they transition, like some of them become gay men, and I'm like, I don't like penis, and I don't want to like penis, and I feel like I would be sad if I started liking penis, but I feel like that's nothing I could help. So like I would be sad, but I would be like secretly wanting penis, you know? And I'm just like, that hasn't happened, so I'm like, thank God. I still love vagina.
I think that's a like, well, I identify as a pansexual person, and so with, I mean, I guess, you know, we can go into like these deep like definitions, but you know, pansexual just means
just like everybody.
Yeah, basically. So I was always attracted to men and women since I can remember. I mean, really, like I remember being attracted to men in high school, or boys in high school, and men in college, and like throughout my life. But you know, I'm drawn to women, you know, a lot too, and just I found the best partner ever, and so she's amazing, and yeah. So I was lucky for that, you know, and that person is a woman, and that's cool with me. And like I'm very I love my sexuality. I think anyone who has you know, had a conversation with me, engaged with me more than just surface-based stuff, knows that I'm a very sexual person, and knows that like my sexuality means a lot to me, and the person I am, and how I perceive myself is huge. So for me, it's like it's a big deal. You know what I mean? Like. I'm very sex positive, and I, you know, I fight for those rights, and I fight for those thought processes too. So yeah, I don't know why that got to that point, but yeah, that's
yeah.
what it is. I get deep. I get really deep.
That's okay.
Hi, Tori.
I get pretty deep too. Hey, I just made a joke. You didn't even laugh.
You made a joke. I missed it. I'm sorry.
I just said I get pretty deep too.
Oh, so that was a joke and making reference to your but yeah, I get deep too. No, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think these are some of the things that like we deal with. You know, we're rambling, so if we're just annoying, sorry.
Yeah, or ask a question. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I've had people, like close people to me even, that are like, okay, well, you're gonna be a guy, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be a guy. It's like, so you're gonna be a straight guy. I'm like, no, because that to me sounds gross. Like, no offense to like straight men, like it just sounds gross to me. Like, so you're gonna like only women. And I'm like, probably, but I'm not gonna. I'm not straight. But that just sounds.
But yeah, and
no. So like, well, then what are you? And I'm like, I'm just queer. Like, sorry. Like,
and that's I love the word queer, and
I love it too.
I love what it really has. It's a word that empowers so many people, which is great, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's funny how people want to put you in that bubble, like, oh, so you're a woman,
right.
So does that make you, you know? And I'm like, do we have to talk about this? Like, I identify as pansexual, I identify as a trans woman, and you know, my pronouns are this, she and her. Sorry, and I think those are the conversations that like, you know, should be okay. You know, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know why I have to like put a word on it. You know, like why I'm like, if I don't like you, then it's not really any of your business what I'm into. You know, like if I'm not into you, then who cares? Like, don't ask. Like, if I was into you, I would let you know. Like, I honestly, like when I flirt or hit on people, I don't even ask. Like, I'm not like, hey, are you like into this or whatever? I just hit on them, and if they like me, then they'll respond, and if they don't, they won't. Like, I don't have to ask them. You know what I mean? So it's like, why would you have to ask me like what I'm into? Like, are you worried I might hit on you, or you don't want that, or it's like, if it was gonna happen, it would have happened. Like, don't worry.
You see that happen? That just happened. No, but no, you know, I feel you on that though, like so much. But like in this weird, like I'm in this weird naive bubble where like no one like, okay, I'm not low confidence or whatever, but like nobody is like attracted to me, that they don't engage with me because they're like interested in anything more than just like, hey buddy, like what's going on? And then yeah, right. But you know, I've had some interactions with some people, and you know, and it's like, oh yeah, we should like, you know, exchange information to be buddies, and we can like use mutual contacts and whatever. And I'm thinking this, and I'm shaking people's hands. Like, you don't shake people. Like, who shakes people's hands? I do that, and it's awkward. And then so awkward. And then, but like, I give them my information, and then like it's like, oh, like, hey, like we should go out sometime. I'm like, are you joking? Like, this isn't serious. And then, you know,
there's on Punked. Is that is that still a show?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
But you know, that's the thing. Like for me, I'm like, there's no way anyone can show interest beyond like, you know, very very strong like specific sexual thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But like outside of that, like it's not an option with me. You know, in my thought process, like this crazy mind of mine that's like, what is happening? So yeah, that's kind of some of the stuff I deal with. But it's. I wish I could just be like, hey, you know, like like super like, you know, high confidence and like chatting. No, like I'm that way if I'm not thinking of anything. But like when that moment comes, I'm like, hello.
You're right.
You know,
you're
like yeah, like
super awkward.
like saying the worst jokes. You know, like
that's how I feel. Like when I talk to people, like if I'm not interested in them, but if I think they're flirting with me, but I'm not like interested in that way, like I can flirt with them like no problem and just be like that guy who's like, like I like myself, you know. But like if I'm interested in them, I'm like, hi, how's the weather outside? Like what, you know, like super awkward, and I'm like, they don't like me. They can't possibly like me after the things that I just said.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like I'm like, who is this person? Like that's not me. But it's like, yeah, I've been getting like a lot more confidence, and like luckily I have this awesome roommate who like checks my ego all the time.
She's pretty cool. I met her, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, one of the Emily's, yeah.
She's pretty cool, one of the Emily's.
Yeah,
one M of the M&M?
One M of the M&Ms, yeah. She checks my ego like all the time. Because I'll be like, yeah, she's like, your penis is not that big. And I'm like, okay, it's not that big.
Yeah. I can't speak to the size of his penis. Sorry. But,
that's the best part. It's any size you want it to be, baby. It's just like, I'm not worried about it.
You could have gone anywhere with that. I like where you went. I like where you went.
That's where I always go with it.
Yeah.
Because I personally am not getting bottom surgery, so I like to give women the option. That's
not a
just
bad idea.
a gentleman's thought. That's all.
I think that's a conversation that like is breached when you're comfortable talking to usually other trans people. I would say is that conversation's a little bit easier to have based around bottom surgery specifically, or top surgery on top of that. But yeah, I mean bottom surgery is kind of it's always kind of on the table per se.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it like that.
Nobody wants to like ask.
But but it's on the table. It's on the table. Like in my mind, like it's there, and I'm like, maybe. But then like last night, last night this morning, me and my wife had sex like twice, and it was amazing. And it's so engaging, and I don't really mind my penis, so it's just great. I love actually I don't just not mind my penis. I do really enjoy my penis, but it's more of like this like facilitator of like. Of feelings and like arousal that like my mind doesn't trigger when I'm like in intercourse with her, and it could just be because it's with her, but I mean it could be that like it is just something that I see as like a tool for pleasure, and it doesn't have to be. And like I penetrate with it, and that's great, and I love it. I'm fortunate that I can be penetrated too, which is good, and
you're the best of both worlds, really.
But you know how many times I've heard that in my life? Gosh. But no, it's true though. It's one of those things where I haven't had that moment where I'm like, this is going to be where I'm at. Like but I also don't look at myself as a 75-year-old woman being like, do I see a penis between my legs when I'm a 70-something-year-old woman if I make it that long? It's just not a part of me because I'm guessing when I'm 75, it really doesn't matter at all.
Right.
So my phone might die, guys. It's at 10%. I didn't plan for this, so even though I knew about it since this morning.
You have the whole day.
I forgot I was using my phone.
Come on.
Well, Rockboy, I'm glad you're in here because I know that we like each other's stuff all the time online, so that's good.
Oh my god.
And Courtney, that's awesome. I'm so stoked. I can't wait to meet your kid someday. Hopefully someday soon.
And I got my friends over here. Hey. Oh. That's it. No, they were asking questions earlier, but we were like answering them as they were asking them.
Oh,
so
were we?
Like, yeah,
okay, cool.
Like, perfect. It was going pretty seamlessly.
It was. I ramble. So if you guys ever want to hear either a political rant or a trans rant, I'm that person for you 100%. Like I will deliver on that front. If you guys want to know any good books about trans culture, there's actually some really good ones out there, and I post them all over my Instagram, so like it's good to read about it.
It'll be the real reading rainbow.
Ayo.
Hey.
See what he did there?
I'm pretty quick.
Reading rainbow.
But like
it's good.
Testosterone makes your sex drive, and I like do this all the time for people. Like go like this. Like this, like wait, like it's off camera. That's how high up it is all the time. Like all the time, so like all the time. It's like every 5 seconds. I literally I understand like the struggle that guys go through now. Because I'm like, wow, I think about humping stuff like every day, all day, like at least every 5 minutes. But I mean, so it's like my jokes always tend to go like in the perverted direction. So. But
you're saying it like this, like the struggle, like it's this uncontrollable.
It's not uncontrollable.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna go out and
let's just check this for a second.
I'm not gonna go out and rape people. Okay, I'm just saying like. It's up there.
Cody recommends Nair for your butt.
I'm not putting Nair in my ass crack because it sounds.
Cody. So Nair for the ass crack. Yeah. Okay.
Seems like a bad
waiting
idea.
for an answer, Cody. Like this is. I'm taking notes here. No.
I'm taking notes.
But yeah, no. I think. Sorry, I didn't mean to end.
I tried to use Nair in this area once before, and like it was not a good experience.
I got Nair on my nipple once, and it was the worst moment of my life.
Right? Doesn't it? It hurts.
Oh my! It burned.
For
and
why?
Then, I couldn't have a shirt on my nipple, so I literally was walking around like this,
chemical burns,
like this, like for like hell, like probably a couple hours. I'm just like.
Everything.
And everyone around me, I couldn't tell them because I literally like was trying to Nair my chest, and I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Sunburn. It's December." I'm like, "What the fuck am I talking about right now?"
My shirt is hurting right now. It's just.
It was pretty funny. So, but
Just
Thank you, Cody, for the reassurance on the nair for the butt crack.
I'm not gonna put nair anywhere near my ass crack. I'll just figure out another way. I'm sure there's a guy out there that's like got a pro tip on that.
There's pro tips.
I just kept remembering this guy that I went to high school with, and he like sat like a couple chairs in front of me, and his pants were like always like down where they're not supposed to be, and so when he leaned forward and his shirt went up, you could see his ass crack, and it looked like a squirrel's tail was like coming out of it, and I don't want to be that guy. Like I can't be that guy.
Hey,
I know some women are into that.
Well, like, no, body hair isn't a bad thing, guys.
They're not
like,
the women for me. It's like, not my thing. I started growing my armpit hair finally, though.
That's good.
Yeah, I was like torn between whether I should do it or not. So I was like, I'll just let it grow out for a while and see how I feel about it. And I always forget. And I'm like being in the shower. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this scares me.
But like for me, I think. Thank you, Rockabilly. Like we do have a really good relationship, and it works very, very well. So.
Cody, are you saying that it's fine to put nair in your butt because you know from personal experience?
It's finer hair in your butt, so it's fine hair in your booty. See, so it's finer, so it's easier to attack.
I want to know if she's done it, because if there's no way that said I put it on my butthole and it didn't hurt, then I'll be like, okay, maybe this was back when I was using nair when it was like newer, and so it was like more chemically and it like to burn you. And maybe it's better now. I don't know. Maybe they have nair for sensitive areas. I don't know.
By the way, we're both. I'm 31 and he's 30, so we're both in our 30s. If you guys didn't know that.
Dirty 30s. So, I feel dignified, honestly.
Do you?
Like I'm not even sad about it.
I'm not quite.
Thank God I'm out of my 20s. Basically, is how I feel.
I like that. I like that. Every time I have a thought going, I just see an ex of mine.
There is a kind for sensitive skin.
See, I think I need to meet this Cody. I like the openness of anal hair removal. I think it's good. No,
this is literally where all my videos go. Some kind of weird topic. One time we talked about I was like, wow, I never thought about this. Is the fear of getting your wiener caught in your zipper a thing for guys? And I found out it is. And I found out that it's happened to some people and that it apparently hurts really bad. And I was like, yeah, because it's literal teeth ready to bite anything that goes through that opening. So
well, let's just go with the fact that 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 could be a girl's issue too.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it could be a girl's issue. But if you're opening, why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just take them off.
Yeah.
Just take them off.
Yeah.
If a girl can unzip her pants and go through that opening, I need to meet this girl because that's some fucking skill right there.
Well, you just met this girl.
That's okay. Okay, you got me.
I had to do it. I'm so sorry. But I think the thing is with body hair, in the conversation is funny thing is before I was I transitioned 100, whatever that means. I was smooth everywhere. Just I was like
a baby.
I was everywhere. I was just so fucking smooth everywhere and super lotioned and all this, and I'm just yeah. I am still I maintain my hair because it's not something I love. It happened to Rockabilly once. The penis and the fly.
Ooh,
how bad was that?
My condolences.
I'm sorry.
I heard it's okay taking it out, but putting it back in is the dangerous part.
There's teeth. Yeah, it doesn't look like it went very well for Rockabilly.
I hope there was no bleeding or stitches involved.
But if this goes black, guys, it's because my phone died, and I'm so sorry. I don't know about that. That's a big battle, Courtney.
I've seen that, and I did some research, and I think a guy wrote that, and I don't think it's true.
Yeah, I would. Courtney, I like that you have sympathy for that, but I mean, honestly, let's give it to the people that have given birth.
I've seen it. I was in the room when it happened, and I've seen guys get kicked in the balls too, and I've been in the room for that happening, and I've never seen a man leave his body before, and I've seen a woman leave her body while she gave birth, so I'm certain that giving birth hurts a lot. A head coming out of a tiny... Yeah.
I think it's a battle I think no one should really wage.
Let's just go with they both fucking hurt.
But I'm going to go with the baby hurts more. We're going to go with that.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure it hurts worse.
I'm like.
I mean, I've been kicked square in the crotch area.
Hi, Jessica.
Enough, but I would say giving birth, because wow, that was something to see.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Watching it was definitely a moment to remember. Mm-hmm. It was a moment like this. No, not like this. No, not
like this.
But
it was nothing like this.
But I think, yeah, I don't know where we were going with that, but I think. Oh, I was gonna go with the whole thing like, that hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
body hair.
After it didn't matter as much to me anymore, and like every 2 days was like boom boom. Like now I'm like, I'm wearing leggings today. Yeah, legs aren't being shaved today, you know, or like
no
I'm wearing a long shirt, like, you know, maybe today I didn't like knock down the hairs under my arms, you know, like it didn't define my femininity anymore. And I think that was something that was kind of important. Now, I keep my hair shorter than my friend, one of my friends who, you know, has found her love for her own body hair. And I think that's a beautiful thing, you know, like I think that's something that like I admire, you know, it's being like, you know what, this came from like conformity and like male's perspective of what beauty was, and you know what, I like my body hair, and this is how I'm going to own it. I think that's something that's kind of important as well. So
heck yeah, you see like all of these people that are like all these women that just like aren't shaving their armpits anymore, and I'm like, go for it. I'm like, I'm not doing it right now, and it feels, I don't even notice it, but it's also in like the second week of growth, so like it's there, but it's not crazy. I don't know. Look at it. Look at my armpit.
Oh my god, yeah.
Right?
No, it's like a good amount though. Like it's a really
good
amount.
It's like a decent amount. Yeah. I mean, it's probably gonna get. That's the testosterone. Like my leg hair is not sad looking anymore. It like looks like actual.
It looks like it looks like a leg with hair on it. Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't look like old man hair or like baby hair. It like looks like baby hair. I was like, I just shaved it for so long that it like lost the will to live.
Isn't it crazy though that like the emphasis we put on body hair from our different perspectives? Like we put so much emphasis on placement of hair, how it makes us feel mentally. Like when I look in the mirror and see facial hair, and when you look in the mirror and see facial hair, like the difference in that, you know, I think that's really interesting. And it's like really kind of this moment of like we give this so much ammunition, so much power over us, but then it's like, but no facial hair, but no, I can't, eyebrows need to be done, because like it does trigger me sometimes. Like if I see the couple hairs I cannot get rid of from my face, I swear it just won't go away. It sucks.
You know what really mind fucks me too is like that's not even like a natural thing. That's just something that we were taught.
Yeah.
And it mind fucks me all the time, and I'm like, what is masculine though? Because that was just what we were taught.
Yeah.
You know, like, sure, guys and girls are going to be different, and they're going to have different properties about them because they're different. They're, like, the same being, but, like, they're different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's, like, so inherently, there's, like, being covered in hair, you know? Like, guys are going to have hair in places that women don't grow hair. Like, most women, at least, I'm assuming, don't grow hair on their chest. Some do, you know what I mean? So it's, like, what's really masculine? What's really feminine? Like, mind fucks me all the time. I'm like, I can't think about this right now. Because it's like one of those few things that like if I go down the rabbit hole, I get like super depressed. Like if I think about death for too long.
Oh yeah.
So I try not to.
But I mean, like, let's change the subject then. But I think hair is an interesting subject because with another friend of mine who identifies as a trans man, a trans pansexual man, he has thought about like his chest with hair on it, and like although it's something that he wants to change, like it's not necessarily something that like. I mean, within some like the community, like that's not a negative thing. You know what I mean? Like me, I don't like hair on my chest, so I get rid of it. But there's, you know, it's not always. It's just. I think we're learning to not put so much emphasis on some of these like really dialed in like teachings about us. Yeah. So I think that's something that. Hi, Shahana.
That's how I feel. I've thought about that too. I'm like, what if I'm one of those guys that has like a super hairy chest? I'm like, would I be okay with that? Would that bother me? And it's like the idea of it. Like, I'm like, I don't want to have like. I always was like really great if like from the belly button down. I always thought that was super cool. I was like, if I had just that, I'd be fine with that. What do you call that? With the happy trail? Yeah. Yeah, I would be fine with that. I don't want like a super hairy chest, but like I also don't want a super hairy chest because right now I still have 2 chesticles that, you know, and that's
Hear
like
that.
honestly the most triggering thing that I have right now.
I can only imagine. I can't. I
It's
don't even
like-
want to put it into
I just want to like walk around shirtless and I can't.
Yeah.
And it's like I look at myself and I'm like, I'll just like in the mirror, I'll just like do this. I'm like, yeah, you know.
I do know.
And it's like I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know. I guess I don't want to say like triggered because like it bothers me, but it doesn't. It's not like I'm not obsessively bothered with it. It's like some days I'll like be like can't wear the shirt because it looks like I have boobs. You know.
I hear you.
So.
You know, and that's one thing that I can't relate to you is like seeing that part of me and being like yeah, it was flat and like that kind of sucked. But you know, I think unless my wife was being very, very nice to me, but she's like, your boobs have developed very nicely, and I'm like, thank you. But you know, it is one of those things where I don't know what that trigger's like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, like tucking is difficult sometimes, and sometimes it slips out. And I can't
imagine like that's.
Yeah.
I know about it because I watched a lot of Drag Race.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems difficult.
It is a technique that like a lot of drag queens have to use, you know what I mean? But it is a part of a daily life for trans women, which can be very difficult. And like what do you want to deal with in that day, or is it important? I think one of my like inspiring people and inspirational people in my life is this woman named Laura Jane Grace, who's the lead singer of Against Me, and she said something one day. She was interviewed and talking. They actually asked her about tucking, and right, like one of the worst questions you can ask, but. She said, you know what? Some people just got to deal with the fact that some women have penises. And that's going to happen sometimes. And it wasn't going to change her because she couldn't perform on stage with a tuck. And if you guys ever seen Laura sing and perform, she is all over the place. And it's one of the most inspiring things to see. But that gave me like that moment where it's like, yeah, sometimes your tuck is going to slip out. And that sucks. But it can wait until you get to a place where you can take care of it. You don't have to feel like your life is over because of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge. I mean, like, I don't know what that's like when it comes to binding. I mean, that's so big and such a big part. I can only imagine that being very impactful.
Yeah, honestly, it's like to the point where, and it's like, it's kind of like, and I'm sure there's certain dangers that come with like, you know, tucking and everything like that, but it's like, if you can't, like, I can't wear it to work. I can't wear it to work because you can't wear it for more than 8 hours because it's so constrictive on like your chest and you can't breathe normal. Like if it's too hot outside, I can't like go do physical activities with it because then I can't breathe like at all.
So that must be like super impactful to like your mindset.
Like I can't wait until I don't have to do it anymore because then I'll be able to breathe all day, every day, and I won't have to like have this constrictive like thing like wrapped around me. You know what I mean? And as far as like. And like there's, you know, tucking and then there's packing and like I have one but like most of the time I don't use it because like you have to buy like a whole nother contraption just to hold it in place, or you have to buy like special underwear, and it's like, are all my underwear going to be packing underwear? No, they're not, because like hello, like that's annoying. It's annoying. It's honestly annoying. It's like packing to me mostly is just annoying, and honestly I feel like if people are going to be looking at my crotch, it's like, I'm not gonna be one of those guys. It's like I'm up here and like my dick is just like, you know, it's like here, like, yeah, what's up, guys? You know, like how fucking like, don't look at my crotch when you're talking to me. Like, is that a thing? Is crotch gazing like a thing for women? I don't know. Like they're just like, oh yeah, there's definitely a penis in there. You know?
I think there's moments when my eyes have ventured in that area. I mean, like there's sometimes when certain guys are wearing certain pants, and I'm like, I can't help but to notice that. Mm-hmm. That you have, it seems like a very, very beautiful dick. I'm just saying. Like sometimes there's moments you just like, you know, but it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And it's you just like how I feel with anybody. I try not to stare, but there's moments when like you get caught staring. You know what I mean? And you're like, damn, like I wasn't even looking at it because I like am thinking sexual thoughts. I'm just like, how can I see all of that right now? Like, I'm very intrigued by how that's even happening.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. It's just, I am like, I hate layers. Like, I honestly would want to wear, like, the least amount of clothes as possible. And the fact that, like,
for sure,
I would have to, like, wear, like, a packing harness and then, like, wear underwear and then wear pants and then put this binder on that's, like, super constricting and feels like 10 layers on your chest.
Yes, I know,
And then put a shirt on over that, and then maybe it's cold, so I have to wear a jacket, too. Like, get out of here. Like, I know.
And isn't it, now, if this is too much for you, let me know, but, like for me, the more layers I had on, like I remember like early on, or even pre like transition, the amount of layers before my hair was long, wearing a wig, wearing a super padded bra. Now I don't wear padded bras that are like immensely padded, you know what I mean? I don't wear inserts or cutlets, and I don't wear hip like, you know, enhanced hip things, you know, or I don't, you know, corset my waist anymore. Like there was things I did because I felt that was what I needed to do to be a woman. Yeah. And the more layers I took off, the more of my true femininity like shone through. Not saying those things are not feminine, but like the less layers I had on was like that moment where I was like, I don't have to have like special underwear and a crazy bra and a waist. And I'm like, wow, this is me. Like I'm wearing a shirt that's like I would have worn anytime, you know, and I'm wearing shoes I would have worn anytime. I mean, I work for a company that like is a very neutral company when it comes to shoes. Anybody wears them. So I think those are some of the things that I think about. Like I'm like, sometimes being aware that you're packing, I'm guessing, is kind of like fucks through their mind a little bit, right?
Yeah, it can be. It's like, honestly, the only time like I really enjoy it is like if I'm with somebody and it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, just you know, like touch it, you know, and it's like, it's like, so it's like a super sexual thing to me. So it's like if I'm just going to work, like I'm not gonna pack, because first of all, it's like all these layers, and it's like I don't even have a packing harness. Like I have like one pair of underwear that's specifically for that, and like I've done it where you just like take the pocket and just like put it in the pocket of a regular pair of underwear, but like then you're dealing with like adjusting it all day long and worrying about it falling out. And so it's like, oh, you'd be like, have this, my dick is in my pant leg right now, you know, like I gotta go to the bathroom and walk like weird so it doesn't come out on the floor, you know what I mean? So it's like that, like the fear of it like coming out and like you having to be like, oh, catch it before it falls, you know?
My god, a penis creeping down your leg would be like the most interesting thing ever. Like,
and then you like get in the bathroom, like shake it like out, and
then it hits the floor.
Now you have
no, that's worse than your shoelace.
Yeah.
Like,
now
you know what? I think Seinfeld says you got to throw those shoelaces away.
Yeah, just
think that might have dated me in itself. The fact that I just quoted a Seinfeld episode. Okay, I'm gonna not do that again.
We'll just pretend that didn't happen.
Okay. So, how long do you want to make this thing? I mean, is it just until you're like bored and they start saying like "fuck off"?
They're like, God, shut up. Like, what else could you guys possibly talk about? I don't even know how long we've been talking. Probably forever. It feels like forever.
You know, I think
it's been an hour.
But I think the thing is that the more it's okay. The more that I would love to do these things more often. You know what I mean? And I don't want these conversations just to be based on like me personally, on like, you know, those like real specific things that like the majority of people ask. I think sometimes really diving into some of the more like specific things, like what it's like to be dating, or what's it like in our community, like do you feel alone in your community? I think these are things that we should really dabble in and talk about, just based on like our kind of mindset, because you know, the actual taking of the hormones and the act of transition in itself is really, we only have 2 minutes left on Instagram. Oh, wow. Is really it's really one of those things where it's just not eventful. You know, I take my medicine, I go in for my treatments every 6 to 8 weeks to get my hair removed, and I'll probably go in for a breast augmentation within this next year or so. But like, other than that, it's mostly what's happening around us, or how we are feeling in our environments, and how our mental games are kind of playing within our own like self, you know. And I think there's so much more of that we're going to end up talking and engaging more about that than anything, you know.
I really wanted to do videos about like all these in-depth things. It's like I can just sit here and talk myself, but it's better to like talk with somebody else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
You can only talk to yourself for so long before you're like, I'm kind of crazy.
You're like, wow, I've been talking at myself for an hour, and now people are like, wow, how long can you talk for? An hour with no help whatsoever, just going on.
Secret though is that like he puts a puppet behind the camera, so he's talking to the puppet. That's actually
true.
It's a sock puppet he made by himself. It's really kind of cute. Let me just, no, I'm just playing this out there. Sorry. But
that's what I talk to.
Courtney, that's a really great question, and Instagram's gonna make me cut this at an hour and then I'll turn it back on. But yeah, like Charlie's 2, and we've had conversations about like what gender may be. And I remember the first time that they said it's something different between me and my partner, who identifies as a woman, and it was hard when the first time that they said like you're a boy and mom is a girl, and that was a hard moment for me. And like we were able to kind of work those thoughts out a little bit, but they're still not.
27 viewers, not bad.
1 second, sorry.
You gotta restart it.
1 second, I gotta restart for anyone who's on both. If there is anybody on both.
That would be crazy, because you would like hear it would be like echoing. We were on both.
That would be kind of crazy.
Yeah, it would be crazy.
Okay, I'm live again. Sorry. Hopefully some of you guys will come back. I don't know if you guys will, but
They're like, oh, thank God. They're done. They got cut off.
yeah. Anyway. Oh, hello, Courtney. If you're there, hopefully you're there in a second. Oh, cool. So, Courtney, like it was really kind of hard early on because like it was triggering to me, and I didn't think it was going to be that triggering because they had always called me Dada. Not daddy, not dad, but Dada, and it was kind of like a blurred kind of term that was okay for me for a minute, but being in public, it was really triggering for me, and it was time to change it. So Charlie calls us mommy and mama. Mommy's for me, and mama's for my partner, and it was a way to kind of start isolating that me and Chelsea are more the same than different. So that was kind of a big moment for us to kind of figure that out.
I get that, because my kid, he calls me Dada, and it's like the happiest thing like ever when he does it. It's because it's like he calls every single thing mama. Like that's his word for everything. Like ma 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 ma. Everything is mama. So like when he wants to go do something, he's like ma ma ma. Like that's his default like syllable.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he was calling, he would like call me mama and everything, and like that was like triggering for me. And I was like, it's like upsetting, you know. And it's like I'm not mama, I'm Dada. So it's like, I mean, I had the most in-depth talk I could have with a 1.5-year-old.
The 1.5-year-old, exactly.
Yeah. And so now it's like, because I would always be like, I'm Dada, you're Luca, that's mama. So it's like I would do this to him all the time. So now, because we taught him baby sign, when you ask him like to say Dada, he'll go like this, and that's his sign for Dada. Like he made his own sign.
I like that.
So he'll go Dada like that.
That's super cute.
Yeah, it is really cute.
I think we have a different perspective too, being trans parents as well. I think that's something that when you're navigating the world as a parent in general is hard enough, but then being a trans parent can kind of put a different spin on it as well, especially when you're in public spaces with other people and they see, you know, maybe a family doesn't look like theirs and they're like, well, that's interesting, or maybe worse, they say other things that give you bad looks, but that's a part of it as well. But in the engagement with our children, it's, you know, of course we're going to have engaged conversations about what you know gender is and what sexuality is, and like how they differentiate and how it defines who they are, and it's okay to be or define in certain ways. That's okay. You know, I think that's something that's very, very interesting as well, and kind of a spin that we have that's probably not that common to our community. Maybe, I don't know. You guys can tell me if that's wrong if you're part of our community as well. But like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy when like you're like, ugh, I don't call me mommy. You know, like I know you're two, but like mommy makes me feel better.
Yeah.
You know.
I just kind of feel like I'm just gonna be open, and like the way that we kind of agree to go about it is like I'm just gonna call him he until he tells me otherwise, you know. Like, and he's gonna grow. It's not gonna be like he's gonna. Oh, I think your phone died.
Mine died.
Your phone is dead. He's gonna grow up knowing like I'm not gonna hide like who I am. Like by the time he gets old enough, like he's only gonna remember me as like however I'm gonna look like 3 years from now, you know. So he's not gonna remember like how I am right now, but he's gonna grow up like knowing like whoever he feels like, whatever he feels like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, like I kind of told Kelsey, like I'm like, she was like, well, I really want to get him this like dress and everything, and I'm like, and I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, like I'm fine, like I don't care what he wears, but I want him to be able to tell me that's what he wants. Like I don't want to just like put a dress on him and then like maybe later down the line he'll like be upset that happened. You know what I mean? And so like I'm trying to raise him openly, but I'm not trying to like force anything on him either. Like I don't want him to be uncomfortable. So like he's just gonna wear like whatever he wears right now until he's old enough to be like, Dad, I want to be a princess for Halloween. Like great, I want a dress. Okay, cool. Let's go pick you out a dress. Or here, Mom, go take him to pick out a dress because I'm not good with with women's clothing. So
I think that's an interesting dynamic. It's an interesting breakdown because I use they pronouns for Charlie, and not everyone around me does, and not everybody does around me. But
drop the towel.
But you know, for me, like I use they pronouns, and nothing will stop me from doing it until Charlie says I'm a boy or I'm a girl. So that's kind of me. I just like, and like within that context, I'm not associating the trucks and the things with he. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so, but I'm also not associating the Barbies and the, you know, color pink with she. You know, so I'm trying to not blend those words with those things in that capacity, like changing the point of view on he or she, you know? So
yeah, that's kind of like, I mean, he doesn't really ask for clothes because he's a baby, but like toys, you know, anything that he wants, like we just let him play with. So he's got like baby dolls, and he's got toy trucks, and he's got rubber duckies, and like all kinds of stuff. It's like I don't care. He had a baby seat that was pink, like his baby bath was pink. Like we don't care. It's like I'm trying to like it's a color, you know. Yeah. It's literally a wavelength, and you're telling me that a wavelength has a gender. Like Jesus, like really, like who cares? Some guys like pink, and it's okay. Great color. Like it's not for me.
No.
But like honestly, like I have this shirt that says it's not pink, it's lightish red.
I think.
And it's a picture.
I need to sit back so your head looks bigger than mine.
So my head
looks
have a pretty
so
big
head. I'm like hey. What's up, guys? But yeah, so you want to end it on that note?
Yeah, we can end it right now.
I ended it right now.
See, my voice
my
just
phone
did a sweet crack right there. I was like, yeah, guys. Sorry.
But I think we're gonna leave it at that. Hopefully that there's maybe one or two more of these,
we should
or
do more.
A billion, and you guys will just hate us because you're done talking to us about it.
Like, beat it into the ground.
But
That's
there'll be a day though that we're like we can talk about our issues and what's happening, and it won't be centered about our personal transition. Possibly, it could just be about a conversation about our experiences in our life and our community. I think that's gonna be good too. So hopefully you see more of this. Hopefully you guys like it. We'll do this. We'll do this again next week.
Hey,
I hope so. Hey, we can make it happen next week.
Unless I have to work on Wednesday, which my boss is watching right now, and he said that I have to start working on Wednesdays. So we can figure out a different day.
Is your boss Juan?
Yeah.
Hi, Juan. we will figure out a different day.
See, I love my job too because everybody at my job is like totally like cool with it, and like I have a lot of people that I work with that like they speak some English, but they don't always like get like deep conversations like that. So like it was great. I would like go to my boss and like tell him, and he just like had every conversation with everybody in like in English and Spanish, and so everybody was like, oh, okay, cool. They're like, great. And then they're like, how do you? Because it's like I didn't realize that Miles, for like somebody who doesn't like English is their second language, they don't. Miles is a hard name for them to say, so it's like I've been called a lot of times. I'm like close enough. But like they all call me Chewy at work anyway, so it's like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I
go by let's see, bitchy boss, like so many different things. No, I don't think I mean I don't know the names they call me, but since you know the role that I'm in, I don't really talk. You know, they don't tell me stuff because I'm the manager.
You're the boss.
I'm the boss, yeah. So they're like, you know what I mean, right, Juan? They don't tell you anything because, well, they won't tell you what they call you behind your back. I mean, I swear, no. Miles hasn't said anything. No.
I would never do that.
But the fact is that like I would hope people have kind words. But
I'm sure they do. You don't seem like a tyrant or anything.
No?
No. Oh. You're not intimidating to me.
No?
No. Cody's back. See?
Nice.
Compa Chewy, that's what they call me.
Hi, Cody. Welcome back.
I didn't know that was, that's actually a short for Jesus. So I'm like, oh.
Really?
I'm Jesus at work.
No, let's... okay. On that note, I think the potty's calling me. No.
The potty.
That joke. Sorry, it's a bad joke.
The potty.
It was.
This is an adult.
Or actually,
he's actually a year older than me, so
I am.
Calls it the potty.
I'm gonna
I have to go tinkle.
I'm gonna go near my butthole. No, I'm just playing.
Near my butthole. I'm not doing it. It doesn't. And I thought about it too. I was like, I don't even think I could shave back there. Like, how would you?
Cody, I bet you he's gonna be doing it. He's not gonna tell us about it though. He's just gonna be like, he's gonna be walking funny.
I think my ass cheeks will squeak when I walk because they'll be hairless. Like,
anyways, I don't know if we should end on that, but I think we should end it.
Okay, we should probably end it.
We'll end it on that. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye. You guys are rad.